So you were given the question of like where to start, right?
Yeah. I see this all the time, by the way. This is not new today. Back in the day when I was showcasing a dumb thing I was building in Webflow, people would ask, where should I start? And I see this so much. Like, should I start with Java? That was the question at the time. Should I start with Python or JavaScript? Pal, just start. And today is like, should I use ChatGPT or Claude Code? Should I've heard, this does this and Minimax and, should I go free? Should I go paid? Lovable, Webflow, is it still good? I genuinely, I don't think like people would lose anything if they would start with any of them, but actually start and learn. When I say start, like start learning, like you experiment, you learn, and be conscious about it. That's the point. That's the conversation we had at the very start. Be conscious, be curious about learning, and just go on and just repeat it.
It blows me away how many people procrastinate by like over ridiculous, silly little things. I was talking to someone who wants to get into content creation the other night, and I was saying to her, like, I mean, she's started, like, it's good that she started, but she's taken me through all of her shots that she had and like experimentation and this and that, and it's like, this is so cool, but learn it by doing it. Like, get it out there rather than waste loads of time doing test shots or whatever. Get a video out there, watch it back at the end of it, be observant about it, be like, oh, I quite like that, and learn by doing. You're so right. You're not going to waste any time they all contain a lot of the fundamental aspects to building stuff. I've got a video on my channel, which it's the Verdant. It's a sponsored video. It's a Verdant for the Verdant IDE, but I take you through all of the different aspects to it. But it doesn't matter whether it's Verdant, VS Code, Cursor, whatever. It's just about what pieces of that technology, and you don't need to know it all right from the beginning. You'll pick that up as you go along. The point is we're all amalgamating with what's working right now, and you're going to have everyone's just going to have their own preferences. And I love Claude Code. I really like Claude as a model. I like Claude Code as a CLI just because it gives me focus. I don't gain much at all from Codeex, I love that it's a bit cheaper though. So I can do a bunch of things with Codeex and beyond what Claude can do. And it seems to be doing fine for me on my current project, but I wouldn't say my current project is particularly difficult. But saying all of that, you've got the CLI, which is in the terminal. You might prefer that. You've got that app here, which has been praised a lot for the organization and clarity of using it. It is a bit nicer to look at. Codex is a lot better now, but you'll be looking at code. It really, it stems from what your background is and your comfortability and what you want to achieve. If you just don't feel comfortable doing any of this, then you might push more towards like Lovable or any of the vibe code apps that do take care of a lot of the database setup. Because with Codex, you are responsible for the database, you are responsible for the authentication, you're responsible for knowing how all of these pieces get put together. Whereas the harnesses like Lovable, they probably have some sort of system prompt or some sort of boilerplate code. Like all Replit projects look the same, so I'm sure all projects start with a boilerplate folder structure and tool and technologies already installed that then the agent is put to work on, which is why probably gets a good result. So you're definitely required to know a bit about technology and how it all fits together if you're going to go down the Codex route. Let's call Webflow beginner, but then we are talking about building apps, which is a complete different ball game. But Webflow for building apps, because everything is taken care of, you don't need to care about the code. Replit, Lovable is like medium, and then Codex is like expert. Super expert, old school super expert would be literally writing it in VS Code, but there's there's a lot of benefit to learning code, but in terms of creating something,
with AI,
you'll end up using AI.
My today's workflow that might change tomorrow is going to ChatPRD. I haven't used it too much, but the 2 instances I've used has been really good. So I'm going to continue using ChatPRD. You could do this also with ChatGPT. ChatPRD just has maybe the system prompt. Maybe it is just a system prompt, but at the end of the day, the idea goes to ChatPRD. There I get a complete prompt. Then I paste that into Codeex app, because the UI is nice and because it seems like I have unlimited tokens. I don't know how, but it is so today. It might change tomorrow. I'm not in love with the model like GPT 5.4. I have it on extra high all the time, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Then if I have to, go like for like editing API or like adding my API and just random edits, I still use Cursor, but that's my usage for it, and I will cancel my subscription because I don't need it. And then I have obviously the Warp terminal to here. I fire up mostly just Claude Code for a bunch of like refinements, or sometimes I have multiple agents doing different things, or one does research and the other one does implementation. But I have these like essentially like 4 things, or mainly like these 2 doing the heavy lifting.
I'm Codex app just because of the extra usage. Claude Code. I do use Cowork. I'm starting to push more towards Cowork, Claude Cowork for, doing stuff on my computer, but and then Warp, just to do stuff.
I introduced Claude Cowork to my assistant, and she's in love with it. She uses more Claude tokens than me, just through Claude Cowork. So any task that I give her, I give it to her like through a long voice message, and she throws it at Claude and either creates like a mini app, one of those like kind of like artifacts with to-dos, or if it needs to, we push that into our Notion. So we are using less and less of Notion directly, but more as a database. You throw things at it, and then you ask Claude to also return results from it. So you, instead of like going to Notion and looking at it, that has been one of my biggest issues with Notion, because the more the cleaner you get with your structure, the more difficult it gets to navigate, because then you have things separated properly with filters in place and things like that. It gets difficult to go back to and use it. It becomes something where you store everything in it, and it's, people have been saying your second brain. It's to Notion, like building your second brain. It has become very difficult to retrieve content from it, and with Claude it's just like, or in general with MCPs or API, however you do it, it's just so easy. Just add these tasks, or what are the tasks about this, and a bunch of these have context there, so it can also write that email, it can do that research in Claude Cowork. So
and there's a lot of chatter at the moment about Obsidian. And all that is just a local database made up of markdown files, and the issue is that's great if you're completely on your own and you're just building this second brain or some organization and skill. That's great if you're on your own, but it's the moment you need to share that with a team, or you need to share access or have a common source of truth. That's where Obsidian falls down. I do want to do a video on Obsidian, because I think people are getting hyped up about it. I mean, if you are, there's plenty of people just working completely on your own. But I think anyone who has to work in a team are quickly dismissing the idea of Obsidian. But yeah.
Okay.
is well equipped for LLMs, just because for LLMs, just because everything is it's a markdown note thing. It's all made up of markdown files. So anyway, this is part of a larger conversation on my show, Cmd+AI, which we stream live every single week. We discuss the news and all things related to AI in the world of design and web. Catch us next week and join in the banter.
Cmd+AI.